And we are live. Hey everybody, let me get things going. For tonight's Let's Talk Autism. Let me see. So I hope everybody's doing okay. I'm just adding this into the groups. So give me just a second. Linda's going to be a few minutes late this evening. Trying to get the drawing together because we're going to do tonight's drawing. We didn't meet our goal. Disappointed, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to do another one. And we have a fabulous thank you gift for the next one. So tonight's thank you giveaway will be the Visa check card because unfortunately we didn't meet our goal. But again, we're gonna roll right into the next one right after tonight's LTA session. Hey Leslie, and I think I better open a watch party so we can get some more members up in here. We're gonna roll right into. Okay, let's see. So let me see. We're just waiting on Linda, but I hope everybody is okay this evening. And welcome to tonight's session of Let's Talk Autism. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nita. I am one of the admins of this wonderful establishment that we call Autism in Us. And if you are very new and haven't been to joined us in one of our sessions, what we do is we talk about autism. Any questions you have, throw it out there in the comments. Linda and I are parents just like you. If you can help another parent out in the comment area, feel free. That's what it's all about, parents, helping parents. And I'm just adding this to another page here. Okay. Hey, Gloria, how are you? Yeah, we're trying, Leslie, with the playing around with the startups. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And actually, Linda, she did that one. So she did a pretty good job. Pretty good job. So hope everybody's doing okay. Hey, Denise, Tanya, and Letitia, hope you guys are doing okay. As I said when I came on, we're waiting on Linda because she's getting the names and numbers together for tonight's drawing. We didn't unfortunately meet our goal, but that's okay. We're going to roll right into another fundraiser for this event right after tonight's Let's Talk Autism session. But there's still going to be a drawing tonight, and instead of the iPad, we're going to do the Visa cash card. So once Linda comes on, we can get this thing started. But if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to throw them on in there. That's what it's all about. Autism. Let's talk autism. And if you can help another parent out in the chat, feel free to do so. I don't know why I had that open. It's been a busy week. Sorry, not been around. Oh, that's okay. Norma, how are you, lovely? You're in California. Did you move back, or you're just there for a visit? Eva, let me see. Sweets and Ray. Good evening. How are you? So once again, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Nita. I'm one of the admins of this wonderful establishment. We're waiting on Linda to come in because she's getting the names and numbers together for tonight's drawing from our Are You Aware event fundraiser. But if you haven't been or joined us in any of these sessions before, it's all about autism. So that's what we're going to be talking about. If you have a question, a concern, a suggestion, throw it on in the chat. Linda and I are parents just like you. So if you see a question in the chat you have experience with or have a suggestion, then feel free to chime right in and, you know, add the tip or suggestion or answer a question. All about us parents helping parents with our loved ones on the spectrum. So welcome everybody. A few weeks, I should say. Deanna, hello. Okay. So let me see who's over here. Some I need to open because I tell you guys every week Facebook just won't allow me to be great. So sometimes I have to log on Facebook just to see the comments when I open up the watch party. If you're in the live on the main page, I can see your comments just fine. It's just when we open up the watch parties in the group, I'm unable to see them from the laptop. I have to log into the phone. Yep. Okay. There we go. Okay. Hello, Catherine. Kathy from Mississippi. Hello. I'm from Mississippi too. Well, I'm in Detroit, but I was born in Mississippi. Amy, how do I meet some on in my area to help uh to help with it? I mean, the best thing to do, Amy, is to make a post in the group and ask if, because a lot of people do it. They ask if someone lives in their area, and maybe you may find some members in your area, and you know, have a nice little outing. Sweets and Ray, my son is 27. He has Asperger's. Okay. New York. Yes, we have people from all over. Let's see what Chrissy says. Hello. Is it legal for them to press charges on an autistic child for running from the police? He's high functioning, but he always ran when he felt he was in trouble. Press charges from what was he running from? And then, a lot of states, I mean, if they don't know he has autism, I have never had experience with that. And I'm not sure of the whole situation. So I can't answer any legal questions because, again, I'm a parent just like you. Maybe one of the other parents has had experience like that before dealing with the police. Anybody? Can anybody chime in here? I would definitely see what that was all about and, and go to the station and explain. Oh, daytime curfew. Wow. And they're going to press charges against them.
Hi.
Hey, Linda.
Hey.
Is that
Hey.
Emily? Hey,
Yeah, she wants to.
Emily.
Emily, you say hi?
Hi.
Right here.
Mm, Looking just
Can
like
you
your
hear me right here?
mama.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's gonna, we're gonna do the drawing right at the beginning right now.
Oh, you ready to do it? Okay.
If you're ready, just because she's gonna pick the thing out.
Okay.
If you guys are ready.
Yeah.
Hey everybody. Okay, sorry, I'm doing the comments already. Okay.
Okay, so everybody, we are doing the drawing from our fundraiser. Are You Aware fundraiser? It just ended. Thank you to everyone who donated. We really appreciate you. Linda, I'm getting feedback. I'm getting a
Oh, sorry.
okay. Unfortunately, we did not make our goal, which was 600. I think we got what, 213, Linda? Was it?
Yes, yes.
So what we're gonna do, the giveaway is a Visa cash card. So 50% of what the donations was. So that's what, $106.50. So the winner will receive $106.50 in a Visa cash card. And after this drawing, we're going to go into, after tonight's live, we're going to go into the next drawing. And after Linda draws the name, I'm going to show you the item that'll be up for the next draw. So, is everybody ready? I hope everyone's here for the announcement.
Yep. And I'm starting a watch party as well.
Okay.
Sure.
So if you missed this drawing, we're having another one right after. And after Linda does the draw, I'm going to show you the prize we have for the next one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so for the watch party people that just started, we are doing the drawing for the giveaway for our donations. And hello, everybody that just joined in there. So again, we're doing the drawing for that, for the giveaway, and it will be, because we did make the $600 minimum, it won't be a tablet or an iPad this time, but it will be $106.50 Visa cash card. Okay? So Emily wants to draw this.
Thank you, everybody who donated. We appreciate you.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you, you guys. Can you do this for me so we can make sure we can see? You're over here. Okay, come on, Emily. So all the tickets are in here.
All right.
Okay. Shake it up. Shake it up for me. Okay.
And no, we are not in the drawing. Linda and I are not in, or our family. So,
although we did donate, though.
We did donate to the pot.
Okay, you guys good with that? So tickets are well shaken up. No names, just numbers. The other half of the tickets with the names are put somewhere else. Okay, so we're gonna have Emily pick the ticket.
All right.
So only one, okay? Just one. Okay. Okay. And so everybody has their numbers, and the number is. What's the number? Say it loud. 73713 is the number. So that's the winner number.
Congratulations.
Okay? So 73713, whoever that is, congratulations, you won. And I can probably see who it is. I can narrow it down. Yep, I can see who it is. I'll see if she's here.
Okay.
I just want to verify before I say it again. Right here.
Right here?
This one right here. Yep. Yep. Okay, let me make sure she's here, and then let me move over to my spot, and then I will get situated. See, can you bring that paper here? Thank you, Emily. Thank you. Okay, let me just cross check that and make sure before I say it.
And
Okay.
rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. Rest
Yes,
in
I
peace.
have
That
it.
that was a shocker.
Most
And his
definitely.
daughter.
Yeah.
And
Most
for all
definitely.
who were on that all who were
Yeah.
on that plane.
They're starting to say maybe 9 people.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I had to wear my black mama
Hmm.
shirt.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, Gloria
Um.
said your Kobe shirt.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. So.
So
Let's
who's
see.
our lucky winner?
Uh. Uh. She should be here. Oh no, no. She. I know why she's not here. Okay. So the winner is Monique.
Monique. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Monique is the winner.
All right.
And.
So
Mhm.
Monique won $106.50. Unfortunately, she's under the weather right now,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
she did donate. Thank you so much, Monique.
Thank you.
Um, So, Monique, if she sees the replay, after Facebook deposits the money, which will be a week or two, I think they do it every 2 weeks, then we will get you that Visa check card. Thank you again for your donation,
Thank
hundred
you,
and
everybody.
$6.50. Now, before we get into our LTA, I do want to say thank you to Veronica.
Thank you.
She donated the gift that we are going to give away for our next giveaway, and these are absolutely beautiful,
Thanks for your help.
right?
Thanks for your help. Thank you.
Just in time for, I don't know if you guys can you see those?
Yeah, you can
Just
see them.
in
Yeah.
time for Valentine's Day, with a value of $240, I believe. Beautiful. They are absolutely beautiful. So this is for the next giveaway. And again, to our sweetheart Veronica, who is so generous. She has a heart of gold. Oh my goodness. So that giveaway will be next right after tonight's
Yeah.
LTA. We'll have the posting up for that. And again, congratulations to Monique.
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
And
Congratulations.
thank you to everyone. We appreciate you. Everyone who contributed, we appreciate you. Thank
We
you so
really
much.
do. We do. We do. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get started.
And oh my goodness, Norma. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was shocking.
Okay, to the mom that was speaking on the police, Norma says yes, they can press charges because mom doesn't have conservatorship. I know I misspelled it. So they can press charges even in kids are low functioning. Okay. And Mark says, hi, I've always told my son never to be afraid of the police. I am from the UK. I don't know your situation, but we make a thing when we are out, wave, say hello to them. We always say they're they're there to help. Okay. Can you read that one, Linda? I'm open my phone.
Oh yeah. The school called him to the office. He was there. He was in there for 2 hours. They wouldn't even let him pay so he could call me. So he could call me and said he was walking out because he wasn't allowed to pay. So he walked out of the school and they called the police and they pressed charges for resisting arrest because he ran straight to his auntie's house. I turned in documents to the court saying he has autism, and they tried telling me it's an excuse. They proceeded to tell him he needs to stop walking when he's mad. And I'm assuming that's the end of it,
Oh,
the comment.
you know what? You know I have to go into the other one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me go get my iPad too. Sorry, you guys. Thank you, Emily, for helping. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Emily.
They said thank you. Yeah, thank you, Emily. Said thank you, Emily.
Let's see. I gotta go up some.
Hi, and it's a doctor's diagnosis. Oh no, 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 that they can say things like that. They can just do things like that.
Where were you at? Mad at the okay, mad or upset to walk, but now the legal system here is trying to say apparently that's the worst thing to do. Wow. My son, when he's in his meltdowns, walks or paces. So I just wanted others' opinions on what I should do. Yeah, and especially if they're not educated on our loved ones. But Norma says you can press charges. Yeah, she has an adult son. Let me see here. Yes, congratulations to Monique from Chrissy and Gloria. Yes, very sad. Devastated, yes. Yeah, that's some of the things I worry about too, the police. And, if there is a time that DeAndre is out walking, even with other people and they don't know his situation, it's kind of scary. It's really scary.
And then too, are they, once they realize too that something may be different, what will they think is different? Will they think that he's inebriated? He's high? Will they think,
Right.
maybe it's a different disorder? Like a disorder? Will they think, what will they think? They're not typically, the first thing they might come to mind isn't always autism. Because too, unfortunately, a lot of people, especially if he happened to elope, you know, because they say what I think a good portion, maybe 65% of homeless people are have mental disorders. So something like that, might come to mind first.
Oh, so Kathy, we did just the opposite. You came from around here and went to Mississippi. I came from Mississippi to around here. Yeah, sweets. They should be trained. A lot of areas don't have the training. The first responders, especially, they should be very well trained with recognizing autism, or not to react so fast before
Mm-hmm.
they can analyze the situation.
And two, another thing about with autism, we've seen that when our kids are having meltdowns or if they're frustrated or get something taken away from them, they get oddly very strong, when they're upset, and that tends to be like when people are high, that's the same type of thing. They might think that they're resisting, or just plain out resisting, not even being high, but our kids aren't doing it, or our loved ones on the spectrum aren't doing it out of violence like that.
Hey, Victoria. Hello.
Hey, Victoria. Oh, today's been exhausting.
And Chrissy says, thanks. Thanks, you guys. Needed another opinion. You're welcome. And Norma says, yes, my cousin had high functioning autism and he has been arrested and put in a cell. Oh, wow, 3 times. They don't care if we have proof of the disability, especially worse ones once they turn 18. It's scary. So, very important to get that conservatorship to protect our kids. It's expensive, but
Mm.
but worth it. Okay.
I don't know if it was Norma who was talking about it with somebody on the page, but somebody was talking about it. They said that their child or their loved one who was 18, I think, when they did something in public, and the police came, and had they not had the conservatorship or the guardianship, the loved one, their child, would have gotten arrested because
Wow.
they were an adult. So because they had it in place, and they weren't the autistic individual was not arrested.
Wow.
And Norma would know about more about this too, as well. Maybe other parents who have children over 18 now on the spectrum, that you start this before they turn 18,
The conservatorship.
or guardianship. So it's in place ahead of time. I mean, so it's in place when they turn 18.
So are you saying like maybe around 17 when their
Yes.
17th birthday, then you
Yeah, and I think they were saying that some things can make it take longer, or certain states or certain places.
now it was somebody in the group, remember? I
That
was
was the
like,
conversation.
it was like 3,000. What was it? Was it? It was
3,000 to 7,000, I think.
in
And
Texas.
then, yeah, and the filing fee isn't very expensive at all, federally, even, across the states, each
Mhm.
state. But what makes it expensive is the lawyers' fees, the legal fees. And so I was reading here in California, to file it, you can file it, you can go in and do it, and you can fill out all the paperwork and everything. But if the individual cannot speak for themselves in court, yes, you can do it for them. But if they have any of the listed things below, which included a developmental delay or disorder type of a thing, where they cannot speak up for themselves and say what they want or need as far as their wishes, then they need a lawyer to protect their rights. So in most of our cases, that, as far as if we're getting guardianship for that purpose, we're going to need a lawyer, because
Okay.
that's why we're getting guardianship, right? So there we go. So it will most likely take a lawyer to get it done. But I did see that different states, as far as regarding the lawyer's fees, did vary greatly. And then you have different resources to help you with that. So be sure to always look into that.
Did you notice Michigan, the
What was
fees,
it?
the
It
lawyer?
was yours. Your fees were close to mine, but it was just that one part where, as far as the filing fees and everything, but it was that one part as far as protecting the individual's rights and going to court with the documents to file.
Hmm.
It needed an attorney or a lawyer to
Okay.
kind of to go into court with you to say on your behalf why you need the guardianship in place.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, I now that I know this, I'm going to definitely when his 17th birthday.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But does it? He still. I'm not saying he won't understand, but if he can talk, but doesn't really comprehend things, that's the. But if he can
Yeah.
talk, are they saying that as long as they can talk, you don't?
So if he was to be able to go into court and say, I can do this and I can need this and I want my mom to represent this, then he could go do that and he can ask for you to do that, but he's not able to do that. But because he's not able to do that, they want a lawyer to represent you in court on the basis of why his rights need to be taken away as an individual and why you must be the guardianship and his voice.
Okay.
So the lawyer is kind of there to protect his rights, but to speak up for you and to present to the court why you need that in place. It
You
was,
would
oh my goodness.
you would think it would be obvious if you go in front of a judge with your child, and I mean, and then
Yeah.
if you have paperwork from the
Hmm.
doctor.
Exactly. You think everything. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess just to cross all the T's, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, that he's not being threatened or whatever, you have all these different things covered. He's there in court. The judge can ask him right there. I guess just to make it a longer process, that he had that many steps and measures to be able to back out or to speak up.
Can you explain conservatorship? Gloria is asking. So, what's the difference? This is a good discussion because we are all
Hmm.
learning. What's the
Yeah.
difference between the guardianship and the conservatorship? Hey, Kenyana.
So Norma says it's different in every state. That I don't know. Age doesn't matter. My friend got the conservator on her son before he was 18. I saw something that somebody said you could start something on 15. That might be the part. I know power of attorney they wanted me to do now on Emily because I can't get into all her medical records right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to do certain things on her, like for me to have computer access and phone access, uh, I have to have a power of attorney. If I have the refill numbers, I can type it in, but I can't pull up the refill numbers via like I can on mine. So I can go into my medical record number on my phone and they'll give me I can pull up
Right.
all my refills or all my
Right.
prescriptions. I have to actually have the prescription in my hand to be able to refill it. So I'm already aware. So they're not going to tell me what kind of prescriptions she have, but if I have the bottle, I can refill it. It's that kind of thing.
So that's
Because
your
if
proof.
she was neurotypical,
Right.
yeah, so if she was neurotypical, I could be going through her file and be like, why you got birth control? That kind of thing.
Mm.
So it's her privacy age of 13, I
Yeah,
think.
because they do stop that once they get, what is it, 16, you can't go,
Yeah,
or
yeah, here
13,
they stop it at 13. Yeah,
13.
yeah,
You can't
that's
go in
when
the
it's changed.
doctor's office anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, okay, but she's still
Yeah,
under
right.
my
Yeah.
roof. Okay.
Be like, okay, and be like, Adrian, don't you want me in there? You let them know when you want me to be in there. She used to be like, yeah, can my mom come in here?
Mm-mm-mm. Okay, Victoria says guardianship is for the person, conservatorship is for the financial. Ah, okay, I see.
Mm.
So you can have guardianship, but not necessarily
Oh,
be able to handle all of their financial things. Is that, am I getting that right?
because I think power of attorney goes with financial ship too. Because I signed on a power of attorney for somebody, and it was
Uh,
for financial purposes. She
okay.
gave it to her mom. Yeah, it was a power of attorney though, and it was for financial things.
So that would be like
It must be,
conservatorship.
yeah. hmm And that would make sense why you can do it before 18 because, like, so I have financial things on Emily's financial things. So her financial income, I do have permission to handle her bank account and everything, her trust.
Okay.
And she's had that for years.
Thank you for the videos. I really enjoy them and knowing I'm not alone. You're welcome, Candace. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. And that goes both ways.
Hmm.
Lets us know as well. And let me see. Sorry, guys over here. Let me see. Meltdowns in public here. Public areas are worse. I am writing to you guys from Newfoundland. Uh, Population for ASD is 1 in every 44. That's a lot, huh?
Hmm.
I
That's
mean,
really a lot because it's 1 in 100 or something, right?
yeah, I was thinking she was going to say it was very rare there.
Wow, one in
Yeah.
44. That's really
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
lot. Mm.
Yeah, the meltdowns. Yeah. Karen, how old is your son or daughter?
And exactly, or if you have conservatorship, then you can handle finances but not make medical okay or other decisions
Oh,
pertaining to the person.
and here's Lorienda. Lorienda says guardianship deems the individual as incapacitated and a person, either a parent or family friend or someone, will be granted guardian, and the individual would become the ward of the state living in. With guardianship, an individual cannot vote, sign any legal documents. That's why the lawyer had to protect their rights because everything's stripped from them when they give guardianship to somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So that's why the lawyer is there to protect and to prove why you need it and why they need all their rights taken away. And then Lorienda says, I have power of attorney for Brandon, both medical and financial. And that's where I was talking about power of
Power of
attorney.
attorney. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
I had signed for and
Yeah.
what they told me to get on Emily.
I got to make sure I have all of this, you know,
Hmm.
together
Yeah.
myself. And actually, I need to be taking
Oh.
notes tonight.
Hmm. And Lorianda said the reason why she didn't get guardianship is because he still wanted to vote.
Oh, that's
Hmm.
wonderful. Awesome.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
then Maxine says power of attorney can be financial or medical or both. Then that, I don't know why. I said it out loud too. I said I signed for power of attorney for somebody, my friend, for financial, but I was told to get power of attorney for Emily for medical, for her medical documents.
So you would have to do it twice? Is that what you're
So
saying?
you might do it if it was the same in the one person. You would probably say I'm having power of attorney over financial and medical affairs, and then you might break down on what those, if it was going to be limited or if it was full medical and full financial affairs. So it could, I don't know what the document looks like, or is it a typed up specific document from an attorney?
Okay.
They when I seen it, it was just financial on the one that I seen,
Mm.
and we had to go to the notary and everything. Um, she said they love Brandon in the voting booth.
That's that's awesome though that he's voting. All right, Brent.
Hmm. It's me, yeah.
Exercise your right, baby. Exercise your right.
Hey, Diana and Rethan and Real Queen.
Let's see. You read Norma's?
Norman says conservatorship. My friend says it's the judge saying, uh, the judge saying her. So I guess conservatorship. Okay, so conservatorship, power of attorney, guardianship. So conservatorship. I'm not going to say what they grant, but so conservatorship is given by the judge. So you go and present your situation to the courts, and the judge says, "Okay, I grant you conservatorship." Because I know power of attorney doesn't have to go to court. If I it might have to be filed there, but I'm not even certain about that because when I did it, it just had to be notarized and everything, and it was legally standing. It just went into place.
And if you do guardianship, conservatorship before the child is 18, make sure it extends into adulthood. My guardianship, conservatorship of Andrew ends really. So you just don't go one time and it's a lifetime. Okay. Interesting.
Hey, Lorena. Okay, Loranda says I have one power of attorney for Brandon, for both medical and financial.
Okay. So I could do it now, the way I'm reading what Victoria is saying. I can do it now. And then, but I would have to go back to the courts when DeAndre turns 18 and do it again.
Like what you would probably be doing is drawing up one that's effective from his 18th birthday forward. Like I wouldn't wait
Okay.
till his birthday to do it. I'd probably have it drawn up to go into it. Like if you didn't have one now, you'd probably have one going into effect, when he turns 18, right? So you probably do the same thing as if there wasn't one.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
that way you don't have a lapse. And then Brandon signed his own power of attorney,
All
which
right.
is, yeah, same thing when I did it. The person signed the power of attorney, even though she was giving it over to her mom. She was capable of signing it. It
Okay.
was a physical situation, not a developmental issue or anything.
Okay.
So Patty wants to know which one is better to have.
What was that? Oh,
Which one is Patty wants to know which one is better to have: conservatorship, power of attorney, guardianship. I guess it would depend on Patty what your situation is. Like Lorienda said, Brandon still wants to vote, so she didn't do guardianship because that would have stripped him of his rights medically, financially, legally. So legally, it would have taken away his right to vote. So that wasn't a fit for her situation. Whereas in my situation, guardianship would not affect Emily.
okay.
I mean, yeah, it would not affect Emily in a way or anything like that. I would feel like that would probably have the most protection. Whereas Lorienda, it actually would hinder her with
So,
Brandon.
so with my situation, Andre, power of attorney would be something I should look into.
It's something, yeah, it's something that would probably cover him, unless there was something he wanted to do. I mean, if you want to protect him legally to do something, but if he wanted to vote, but then he probably have to prove that he was able to vote. As far as protecting him legally, I don't know how much power of attorney can protect him. That was my concern too, was how much is it? Okay, so if a guardianship can protect, there was a situation when the adult did something physically to somebody, and I can't remember if he pushed the person, hit the person. I don't remember, but it wasn't like, okay, it was a brutal assault or felonious assault, but it was physical. Now, or it was physical or property damage in a store or something like that. So they said he would have gotten arrested if his mom wasn't there, and there was guardianship. So if his mom wasn't there to take him home with that guardianship in place, what if it's just power of attorney? Does that still protect her and him? And I can't. Norma might have been in on that post, but I'm not sure. I knew we were looking for, I think, Lorienda or Norma. I think we were looking for Norma for that post. Um, oh, hey, Roger. Roger, you came back. And hold on one second. Oh, so with guardianship, Lorienda said, normally has to be done annually anyways.
You say what? Say that one more time.
Lorienda said that guardianship normally has to be done annually. I seen it had to be renewed.
Oh,
I seen it had to be renewed, but I didn't see that you had to go to court and present your case every year. So
wow, that would be too much.
yeah,
Isn't that
so
too much?
it was just documents. So I
Okay,
don't. Yeah, it was just like a continual renewal, but I didn't see it like it was like how you renew your SSI. So
okay.
and actually SSI is kind of tedious, but yeah. I mean, not tedious, but they revamp your case every, like as if you're playing every year. Um, let me see. Please be mindful that when it comes to receiving mental health services in Florida, that then you would have to have a guardian. Now, Brandon was able to receive mental health services for anxiety because he was able to answer questions inside his name. So
Okay.
that would be a difference. So with guardianship, you can't. So when Emily goes in for medical, say, procedures, and I sign for her, without a guardianship, I'm not able to sign for her. Yeah. Uh,
Norma says, in my case, I'm a petition conservatorship. It protects him from everything. Okay. So conservatorship would be, well, like you said, like power of attorney, everything.
mm-hmm. It just looks like the only difference is it looks like conservatorship. It looks like it's assigned to you from the judge.
Oh, okay.
That's what it looks like. Um, and Lorianda answered that correctly for Patty. It's situational for the family household. Um, Power of attorney is cheaper than guardianship. Um,
Oh, really?
mhm. Because it's more of just a procedural thing than it doesn't always have to be a court thing. Um, Lorenda says yes. Not every year you have to go to the court every year, but yeah, you do have to update documentation annually. Because like, say if you did something and say or say guardianship was for a certain reason, but say like SSI is the same way. Say what if it was something that changed
Hmm.
and they wanted to have their legal rights back. So I
Okay.
guess it has to be continually updated that it's still the same situation.
Hmm. So
Um,
Victoria says, I don't, but Andrew is still a minor. I just have to file papers every year saying he still lives, okay, with me, and there is still a need. But I don't have to pay a fee or anything. Okay. So you're just signing saying, yes, he's still here. I'm still taking care of him, blah, 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 that kind of stuff.
and what do you have, Victoria? Does she have guardianship or she has guardianship, right?
I think this way. Uh,
I forgot. I actually know a parent with guardianship here. I don't know why I never thought. I don't know why I was thinking it was different, but it's actually guardianship. Difference on guardianship for adults and difference between minors. And I was reading about that when you have those filed, they're two different things.
okay, so Victoria, um, can I ask you this though? What was the need for you getting the guardianship by him being so young? And
It's her grandson.
oh, the grandson. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it was her baby. Okay, I see. I
Yeah,
got it
that's
now. I
that's
got
why
it.
it all just clicked just now because I
Yeah.
have a family. Yeah, and it's yeah, it's just
Okay.
kind of the same
Okay.
situation.
Because I was about to say, well, maybe am I supposed? Should I be doing this now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got it.
That's what it just yeah. When you even look at the application or when you're googling all of it, it's different for minors and adults because then you have guardianship for different purposes. And then is the child still in need of a guardian or are the parents back around and things like that? Whereas when it's an adult, there's obviously a reason why you have guardianship on an adult.
Okay, so you have both. Okay. Hey, Mr. Charles, how are ya?
Hey Charles. So Lorianda says if you're a guardian, yes, Linda, you can only sign for her and hubby if he's listed on the document. Emily would never or could never sign anything or vote. Yes, correct, Linda, because they want to make sure any changes are updated on guardianships. And here in Florida, she can be the guardian to Brandon. That was a thing that I read too. They said when you go through all of this stuff, especially when you're okay. So if you're going into guardianship for an adult, and they said you go through all of that, they said it's always best if there's going to be somebody else, make sure you put a co-parent, co-guardian. Make sure you put another person on there because when you do that, it's simpler to do it that way than to go back and try to go get it done later. So they said if you have somebody in mind, make sure you do that right away. Do it at the same time.
So wait.
So
So
like if you don't
if,
take Andre on there,
right, so we would do
same time.
the code thing with him,
Yes,
or if one of his siblings, maybe.
you and Jasmine or you and yeah
Okay.
Nando. If you want to do or you and Ari, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Especially if like say something happened to you and say Andre was no longer around, but say something later on down the road it was just you, but you think something might happen to you. One of your kids is already on there if something should happen to you. Guardianship's already on there; it's already taken care of because you put Ari on there as a backup,
Okay.
so she's got co-guardianship with you.
Okay. Okay. See, we have lots to think about and take care of for our loved ones. So these sessions are good because, see, I learn something new every day. every time
Right.
I come to one. Thank you, God. So Mr. Charles says, I'm doing fine. Cindy and I had some friends over for dinner today. So I am just now joining. Oh, okay. Well, happy you could join us, Mr. Charles.
Wow. Did you see what she said?
Who is that?
Norma. She says if Jorge got into trouble, anyone will come to me, not him, because he doesn't understand fully what he does or happens, and it is there in the court, and the judge decides.
Oh, really? The judge will decide. Okay.
And that's a conservatorship. So, Norma, do you sign all his medical, decide on all his medical and everything like that as well?
Laura Lee says, I'm my son's legal guardian. So is my hubby. Wish I had added others. He is 27 and I so glad we did it when he was 18. Okay. So you waited till he was 18 to do the guardianship.
That's good that she did it, yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what I was wondering when they said be sure to add, a co-guardian on there. I wonder how many you can add.
Mhm. Now I know one time I was caught myself going into the service, and one of the requirements was
I'm just laughing because how much you're complaining about going to work tomorrow.
I know. Don't bring that up. But anyway, I can remember I had my son because I had my son when I was 18, so I was gonna go, to the army. But I remember I had to, one of the requirements because I had a child was that I had to give limited guardianship. That's what
Mhm.
it was called, limited guardianship to my parents. So I didn't totally give up my rights, but they were able to do things while I was away. They were able to sign
Mhm.
and everything.
Put them
So
in school and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Very cool.
So maybe that half and half thing, or that's something different. Limited guardianship would be something totally different.
But it's
That
on, yeah. And you didn't pay money for that, huh?
you had to pay the filing fee. That was it.
Oh, the filing fee. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And that wasn't
Mhm.
nothing but what, about
Mhm.
$25 or something like that. I don't,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
so long ago. I feel
Yeah.
ancient.
But even the guardianship now was only like $35, 60 something. It
Mm,
was like two different things, but it was really extremely low on everything that needed to be filed. Everything else was legal. Was legal. The legal fees of getting things done. Um, Lorianda
okay,
says,
Norma. Take care,
"Oh, okay,
Mom. All right.
okay. See you later. Thanks for everything, Norma." Um, Lorianda says, yes, correct, Linda. Absolutely. It's required a second, third, or even fourth person named on a guardian in Florida on the guardianship. So that's good. If you could put multiple ones on there, you're already taken care
So
of.
I
Yeah.
can just, so I can just
Just
basically
list everybody.
all
Yeah.
his siblings just in
Hmm.
case. So they'll
Exactly.
be a backup, dad,
Mhm.
mom, and all the siblings, and then we'll
Yep.
be all taken care of.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. No matter what happens. Yeah.
Hey,
That's
Madonna
my how I'll
said,
do it. Yeah.
Madonna says, ma'am, oh, she says, ma'am, Nita, and ma'am, Linda. Girl, you
Oh.
too much.
Wait,
More
who said this?
Madonna. She says, more blessings, AAU admin. You both are really helpful for parents of children with special needs. I'm Donna, SPED teacher from Philippines. All right. Well, welcome, Donna,
Mhm.
and thank you.
Welcome.
And if you see a question in the chat, feel free that you can answer. Feel free to chime in. It's all about us parents, helping parents, as well as you beautiful teachers who
Yep.
teach our loved ones on the spectrum.
Okay, where did Roger go? Yeah. Hold on one second, Roger. I'm going back up to your other one. Roger says that he has power of attorney and guardianship, I believe. Let me see. He has guardianship and power of attorney. And Loranda says, hi, Charles. And you already consider a guardian when yes, you are considered a guardian when the child is a minor, if it's your child. But in this situation, that somebody, Victoria, she's not the parent. So she technically wouldn't be the guardian without a guardianship in place, or she technically wouldn't have the legal rights of a guardian without that in place. And that's what she's speaking on. And Roger wanted to know that, and I lost the question, but I remember the question from this morning. Okay, I don't remember. I want to say there's autism in his family.
Okay.
And I believe that his son's girlfriend is having a baby. She's pregnant. And what are the chances that the baby will have autism? I can't remember exactly whose side the autism was on. And I will answer it like this. If either side, both sides, no sides had autism, nobody could say for sure what the odds would be with the child having autism. That's not really something that could be gauged. Nobody knows that. If it was even on both sides, the child could be born a great chance without autism. And then on the opposite, there could be generations of not seeing any signs of autism, and the child could have autism. So it's really hard to say.
It's complicated. And
Autism shows
Gloria,
up and it shows up.
Gloria says, I spent 5 years in the Army. I know a lot of people who had to do the limited guardianship for their, minor children. Okay. Thank you for your service.
And Loranda Charles said, hello back. And yes, that was the situation. It was his son's daughter was pregnant. I mean, his son's daughter. Not his, okay, his son's daughter would be his granddaughter. No. So his son's girlfriend is pregnant. And there's
His
autism.
son, okay, his son's girlfriend is pregnant.
And they have autism on their side. Him and his son. Him and his son.
Oh, him and his son has autism. Oh, okay, I see.
Mm-hmm. And they wanted to know what the odds are, but like again, it's still the same.
See, I just want to chime in with that. It's so funny. Not funny, but we just really don't know. Everybody has ideas right now, but you really don't know. Even I have ideas, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. And then I start thinking of everything that I've ever done. Like I've worked in a plant for 20 something years. You know, it could be chemical smells, or I live in a major city. Pollution. So walk outside.
They say pesticides. They say, yeah.
So I mean, the schools had lead in the water. We don't know. We don't know. Even our drinking waters were tainted anyway. I could have drunk out of a fountain. So, we just don't know.
And then for a long while, probably even now, if you Google it, they were saying older fathers.
Yeah, older parents. And then it's the thing with running in the family. So you just don't know. Could be a family thing. It could be an environmental thing. I mean, and maybe it's a possibility for some. It could be the vaccinations, but we don't know.
Which would be environmental, or what do they call that? They call that, they call that kind of environmental, meaning something, what do they call that too? Teratogens, anything that you do or breathe in when you're pregnant.
Oh,
for a long time, there's a lot of studies that were saying that the most innocent thing that you can take is Tylenol. There were major studies that maybe it was Tylenol. And then they were saying maybe it was Tylenol, but only with the boys that have autism. It was affecting more boys than girls with autism.
And they keep coming up with something new every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Now, I can remember, and I'm sorry, I don't want to bore you guys, but I can remember back in my day, when they used to have a lot of mental hospitals open. We had a major one here, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm just kind of, you know, putting that puzzle together. Well, there used to be the kids, they used to have somewhere for them to go because the parents, if the parents didn't want them and they were pushed out or doctors recommend them, they would put them in these mental homes. And we used to have a friend on the street, and not a friend, I'm not going to call him a friend, but he used to live down the street. And I always remember they would drop him off on the weekends, and he would go with his dad. He would go back to the hospital during the week, and on the weekends they would drop him off on the bus, and go stay with his dad. So, and now that I think about it and what I've learned, you could tell he had autism. He had some sort of, seen a lot of people like that back then, but it was different. So a lot of people ask, why is autism being diagnosed so much now? It's because now um, they are getting these visual tests and can do everything. Whereas before, if something was the slightest bit wrong with your child, they would say, oh, you need to put him away or put her away. And then parents didn't want to deal with it back then. How often did you see, children with problems? You see them more so today with their parents walking
Mhm.
down the street than you would back then. Just a little,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then what did they call it back then? What they might have said, they had those terms,
Oh,
what they might have said special or slow,
yep,
but
yep,
that was not a diagnosis.
right.
It was,
Your
I mean, we
child
don't,
was slow.
yeah, we didn't know what the diagnosis was. We just knew that that's what people said. We didn't know what they were. We just knew, that that's what people said, but we didn't know the official diagnosis. We didn't know anything. So many of them could have been on the spectrum and probably
Right.
were.
Yep. And then, because after they closed all of those mental hospitals, and this is not just in here, but all over the country,
Mm-hmm.
they closed a
Yep,
lot of them down.
they
But
sure
guess
did.
what? They had to do something about that problem. Now, it's unfortunate that some of our mentally ill are homeless and on the streets now, but the ones that have caring families or someone there for them and they can get that diagnosis, I don't know. It's just something to think about, something to investigate, and part of one of those big pots of reasons why things have happened the way they have. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
Veronica, how are
Hey,
you?
Veronica.
Yeah, but you guys check that out. They have many documentaries on the mental hospitals that closed, and you would be surprised if you go back a little bit.
It was during the Reagan administration.
Mhm. They
The
We had a big one here called Norville, so I know. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I was looking it up maybe 3 weeks, 2, 3 weeks ago, and it was ours is still open for some reason. The one right here
what?
is still open. One of the few. Yeah.
Or schizophrenia. That's what they would.
Mm-hmm.
If something the least bit was wrong with your child, first thing they said was your child had schizophrenia.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah. And if you happen to look up schizophrenia versus autism or schizophrenia and autism, they have a lot of similarities. It's strange how they do because I would never look at the two as the same. But
There.
if yeah, and if you look back, or if you look, I guess, at somebody who doesn't know autism very well, I guess, or if you look back at that, I mean, I guess, I don't know, but you look closer. But it is still tested with the same module. It's tested with the DSM-5.
Yeah, it would seem like those would be on two
Hey,
different
Kathy. You would think,
types.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Victoria says, no signs of autism in our family, although my husband was in special education and has learning delays. We are older, so maybe that's it. No family history of super smart people. Okay. Honestly, I don't put much thought into. Right, right. Well, I'll be honest. I've looked through my family history. because I have a few for different reasons have autism. Some may have been born, something may have happened at birth and then autism came or something like that, or they were just born with autism, and then I have a couple members in my family with Down syndrome. So who knows? Yeah,
And I see that Charles said that what's her name? Temple Grandin said there was intellectual heavyweights on both sides of her family.
okay. Gloria says, yeah, I've heard GMOs also. Nobody knows yet. In my opinion, I believe there are multiple causes, including genetics, environmental, and probably more. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Oops.
Um, I think autism was present back in the day. Absolutely, they just put individuals with any problems in the hospital.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Lorienda was saying that to you.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Lorienda, true, it just wasn't a diagnosis or called something else. Exactly. Miss Yolanda, make sure if you do power of attorney, it's durable, both medical and financial. And yeah, yeah, I think so too. I'm pretty sure it was always around as well.
I agree, Victoria. They are the sweetest people. Yeah, I can agree. Now, although there is one on my street. Oh, he's a terror.
Wait,
Uh,
who are you
down
talking about? Wait, what did you? Wait,
down
what did you
Down
say?
syndrome.
Oh, oh.
She said usually
Huh?
the sweetest people. Now, I'm not sure about his family, but he comes outside, like he can be
Well,
outside late at night
write it down.
and banging on
I got
trash
you.
cans, and I'm kind of afraid of
Like
him.
you want to
I
take the
don't like
river?
going outside when he's out there. I can hear you, Linda. Linda,
Oh, sorry.
are you talking? I, uh, yeah, but I can agree with you. Most of them are some of the sweetest people. Kelly, hello. Struggling with potty
Sorry
training
about that.
a nonverbal 7-year-old boy. Keep working with him. Keep working with him. We get the potty training question every week. Anyone has some suggestions for Kelly and potty training her 7-year-old? Um, well, I am, Veronica. I am, because he gets into those rants and rages. I don't know. He's an adult. He's actually, like, I think he has to be close to 40, but he'll come outside and he just be banging, boom, 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 and then he'll tell people, "Get away, get away." I'm like,
Why
but
is he so mad?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
They usually say that it's that they're very social. They're the opposite extreme of autism. The autism is on one
But
side of the social spectrum
the
and they're on the other.
the others I know are just sweethearts. I do know some on
Mm-hmm.
Down syndrome that are absolute sweethearts, but this one on my block, he lives on my actually about 4 houses down. So yeah. Mr. Charles says one of the genetic puzzles is why there is a much higher incidence of autism among males than among females. Offhand, one might suspect a sex plus link chromosome
Yes.
that is one carried on the X chromosome,
Mm-hmm.
but that can't be the cause, because if it were, an autistic father would have no bearing on the probability of autism in his son. I think I heard someone else mention that before. They said
Mm-hmm.
more than likely it came from the mother's something
Yeah,
like that.
that's what I read too. I read recently. Remember, I said that it came from a high level of what's the woman's estrogen? It was a higher level of estrogen, too high or something like that. That might be causing it. And so what they checked was the uterine wall, and that might be been a cause. They said that something with the pregnancies that carried uh, autistic children or something like that, the uterine wall had high levels of estrogen. But what Charles said too was, so then that might not come from the father side, but if boys have it, so the Y and the X, what the fragile X. So the X comes from, so the girls have two X's, right? Is that how it goes? Fragile X,
Oh, I
right?
think so. Two
Yeah, the
X.
girls have two X's. So when if it's on the X chromosome that gets the damage, or has something wrong with it. The girl has two X's, so the girl might not have as much noticeable symptoms or as much chance of having autism. Whereas the boy only has one X, so with an X having damage on that chromosome, then he might be more likely to show signs or be more severely autistic, is how I seen it when we went to Mind Institute at UC Davis when they were explaining that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
that.
it kind of goes in hand with why Fragile X uh, explains it with autism, because girls have that second X to kind of carry through what the first X misses, whereas boys only have one.
So I had a student with Downs, and he was off. But the year before, I had two that were sweet and fun. Okay. Well, I feel better. I'm not the only one that seen one. At least one of them wasn't so sweet. Okay, Kelly says he will go pee if you take him, but number two is a hard struggle. Kelly, I am still, my son is 13, and we are still working on number two with him. He does just fine with number one, but um, he tries. He tries, and he's getting better. He's getting better. But yeah, I would say just keep working with him.
Mm-hmm. For
And
sure.
any if you're doing ABA with them, um, that helps a lot too. I tried pull ups and he just pees in his pants. He probably is just mean to everybody as a yeah, you know what? That's what I thought. Maybe someone had been mean to him all his life, and then it just comes out because he really does scare me, and I hate to use that term, but he does because he's out there, boom boom. And you're right, someone probably was mean to him. I don't know if those are his real parents, or maybe he was in foster care, or who knows.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows.
Um, April says, I think autism reminds me of people with dementia. I have done home health for 15 years. That's just my opinion. And we were just talking about this when I was saying that dementia and Alzheimer's, they say that oh no, it was me and Miranda. I think we're having a phone call. And we were saying that I read an article where they say Alzheimer's and autism are like at the opposite ends of life. Autism, well, I mean, autism will be throughout life, but you notice it early on, whereas Alzheimer's is at the end, but it really does have a lot of similar things. I mean, you have the eloping, you have I seen this one lady, she was getting it, she was pregnant, she was like 29, she was the youngest case ever, and she was pregnant too, but she couldn't remember certain things. She would have meltdowns because she was so frustrated, she couldn't remember what she was doing, she couldn't figure out how to do things. But she could explain why she was having meltdowns, because she would get so angry because she couldn't remember how to do simple things, that she used to be able to do. And she would get so frustrated with herself. But it did look like autism.
Mm. You see what Kelly says?
But the main one?
Yeah, I got it on the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, hold on, I'm getting back to the other watch party.
You were
What is this?
talking
What is
about
that?
you were talking about X.
Oh, about the X
Mm, X
she's talking
Y
about
X.
the X chromosome.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. The X X
Yeah,
X.
yeah.
Hey, Lorienda, how are you? Welcome over here. Women have two X chromosomes. We guys have XY. Yeah. Okay. Victoria, Veronica.
Maxine says, okay, I don't know what she's talking about. She's talking about the X and the Y's. She says, I disagree. I have three sons. Only one has autism. I don't know if she's talking about the XY chromosomes because it doesn't have to happen to each child. It just means that the damage would be if it was because of the X chromosome having the damage. It doesn't mean because it doesn't mean that it has to be on the X. I mean, it could be, it probably is. I mean, when they say fragile X, it is for sure on the X. But to say that if it was on the X and say that's why it doesn't affect girls, that's not true because I have a daughter that has autism. So we're not saying that that's 100% that that's the case and everything like that. Because if that was the case, that the second X would totally protect the first X if one of them got damaged and a girl would never have it, that's not the case. And that's on the opposite end is not to say that if one child had a chromosome defect on one of the X's that all three of them would. And Nita has four kids. We each have one. I have four kids. She has four kids. We each have one that's on the spectrum.
And Victoria says Declan went party all day. All right, Declan.
What did she say?
Declan
Oh,
went potty
nice,
all day.
nice.
And Lorienda
Is that cool?
says our babies with autism seem to always have struggles with potty. Some individuals are terrified about bowel movements. Yep. Some are scared to do both. Mr. Charles says, I once met a guy who had suffered brain damage in a motorcycle accident and he exhibited traits similar to autism. Oh, wow. And that's something too, because remember we had the I can't Janetta when she did the live about the brain damage, her son during birth, he experienced brain damage during birth. Then after that, he got the diagnosis of autism. So is it really autism, or is that what you're
Yeah.
saying, Charles? I have three boys, and only my middle baby is on the spectrum. Okay, yep. Absolutely, Mr. Charles. I do investigation for a special facility for brain traumatic injury residents, and they are similar. Similar, but it's not autism. They have the brain. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. And Kelly said I met my ex-husband. Okay.
And Charles was talking about exactly what I was talking about, fragile X.
Okay.
That it is on the female chromosome. Like your mother could cause you to be colorblind, but she technically isn't colorblind. But she can pass it on only to her boys.
Okay. Hi, Sherry. Sherry
So
said
yeah, that would be something different. I see what
on
he's
my
talking about.
mom on my mom's side, there are a lot of her first cousins' kids have special needs and autism. My first child don't have autism special needs. My 4-year-old has autism. For me, I feel like it's some with genetic along with complications he had in the hospital. Okay. And see, it could be just about anything,
Mm-hmm.
this world.
Because if you think about it too, because if it makes you say like certain things might make somebody more allergic to a certain food, or some say like your genetic makeup might make you more prone to being allergic to a certain food or a certain chemical in the air or a certain pollen. I guess it could be that would be where it's genetic and environmental. So to think that something like that could affect the way that something is developing, and then maybe a teratogen. So when you're pregnant, that child has a genetic predisposition for something, then that environmental factor comes into play, and there goes the chances and the odds, and everything goes into play, and then it becomes both.
And Mr. Charles said, also, let's remember the recent Yep. And then there's some that believe in the heavy metal toxicity. And then again, I would think that would be like something you smell. That could be, like I said, I worked in a plant. So who
Mm-hmm.
knows?
I mean, but down to the very fillings you have in your mouth that you used to
Yeah.
get mercury, the mercury, the
Hmm.
amalgam, the what's it called, the
It's just so many
mhm.
scenarios. We just don't know. Everyone
They
keeps
even say that amalgam would have
telling
some a slight amount of mercury in them now still.
Yeah, Kelly, I heard did you get the amniocentesis test? I was 38 when I had my son, so I heard age could be a factor. But they weren't looking for autism when I had the amnio. They were looking for Down syndrome and
Who
other.
asked this?
This is Kelly. She didn't.
Oh, okay.
She just said she was 39 when she had her first.
Oh, okay. I had
Oh,
amnio.
I had him. Yeah, you had one.
I had amnio done a day or two before I had her. They wanted to make sure her lungs were ready.
Okay. Yeah, they scared me when they did mine. They make you listen to this long speech, and then they tell you about the needle that's gonna
Mm-hmm.
go in your abdomen, and then they tell you there's a possibility to lose the baby. So you're sitting there like, do I really want to do this? Then you have to weigh,
Yeah,
risking losing the
crazy.
baby and
Yeah.
finding out. And I mean, if something was wrong with the baby, I want to know,
Hmm.
but I don't want to kill
Yeah.
the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
With
was
mine,
scary.
yeah. With mine, they just tell me. They told me that if anything went wrong, that they would rush me to have the baby right then, because I was at the time of being induced, so that's why they were checking. So I didn't
Okay.
have to do that part, but they just said that if something goes wrong, we will be taking you right away to C-section.
So Lorienda says, I don't know if autism was in my family back in the day. We just called them slow. Yep. I did have a cousin and family with MR and Down syndrome. The rest was called slow. Brandon was the first really diagnosed person with the autism. Okay. Yeah, Eddie has mastocytosis. So he has the weirdest reactions to certain foods or fabrics. So that's some kind of sensory masto. That's a good word. I got to write that down too. Mastocytosis. That's some kind of sensory thing, Veronica. Sensory issue. See, every time. No, my pencil. I got pick it up.
Yeah, Maxine, I was just talking to my the pediatrician about this.
What is it?
Um, Not just brain injury showing signs of that are similar to autism, but other syndromes, or I should say syndromes that or other diagnoses that can look like autism but aren't autism.
Oh, like
Because
that Turner syndrome or Williams
there's even
syndrome.
one, yeah, there's another one. There's one I forgot. It's a girl's name. For some reason, it always makes me think of Emily's name, but it's a syndrome as well. But uh, when I talked to her pediatrician about genetic testing, he said the reason why they genetic test is because there could be other things. If it's something that has the same symptoms across the board as autism, and then they're starting to doubt maybe there might be something else, then they test, and if it's something else may pop up. But that's usually when they're finding something confusing along with autism. So there's like autism related symptoms, but except for this one's not related to autism. Then they might do a genetic test, and then some other syndrome or some other diagnosis might pop up through the testing.
Okay.
But he was supposed
Now
to talk to another doctor. Come get back to me.
I was looking at Kelly. My amnio was in the blood test from a finger. Really? That is
What,
interesting. I wish I
what
had
happened?
known that. She, but how are they able to test your amnio fluid if they only pricked your finger?
That's strange.
Because if
You
I
know,
had known that, they wouldn't have put that long
yeah.
needle.
Why did they do that? How did they do that? What?
Right. How do they check your
Did I,
fluid like that? That's
I
interesting.
went to one of my first prenatal appointments with Emily, and he's looking, and he said, "Okay, open your eyes." And he was looking at my eyes, and he said, "You probably wonder why I'm looking at your eyes at the prenatal, appointment." And he said the blood vessels in your eyes are the same health as the blood vessels in your placenta. So he said, "I'm just checking the health of the placenta."
Okay.
Maybe somehow they found like the blood,
Cause
prick
well,
on your finger.
yeah, because if they could have did it like that, that long needle.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They know things I guess we don't know. I mean, obviously, obviously they're the doctors, right?
Mr. Charles says, my daughter was born before they had amniocentesis or ultrasound. Judy and I didn't know our baby was a girl until the day she was born. Oh, that's a surprise. Well, I knew two, what two of my kids were before they were. I knew what DeAndre, I knew DeAndre was going to be a boy. Actually, my boys. Isn't that funny? Both my boys I knew, but them girls, they gave me a hard time. They didn't want to show. Uh,
I only didn't know one.
it was called called a company called Verafi, I think. Okay. No, it's where mast cells accumulate on the skin or organs and create okay, allergic reaction on the skin or in the organs.
Mm.
He has more than the average amount of histamine in his body, basically. So if he has an allergic reaction, he will get diarrhea and treat the diarrhea instead of giving him Imodium or Pepto. I have to give him clear. Ah, wow,
Oh, so you took the histamines instead of the Oh, okay, got it.
interesting.
Because it's from that
Word.
instead of like a gastric thing.
Yeah, new word. Hey, Gloria. The school psychologist believes Colton has RAD, which has a lot similar uh, symptoms to A. Oh, really? What is RAD? What does that stand for? RAD. Y'all, I did not have any testing, no amnio or anything. I did have a C-section with Brandon. I noticed that he was delayed. Okay. Oh, you noticed he was okay as a baby. Kelly says, I was put on bed rest at 24 weeks. My cervix was opening. Tried so hard to keep him in. Came right out on his due date. Came on his due date. Okay. Yeah, poor Eddie. Thankfully, Eddie doesn't have it in his organ. Yeah, thank goodness. That can be very bad. Oh, wow. Yeah, thank goodness for that. Eddie just gets it on his skin. Okay, she said it's reactive attachment disorder. Another new term. See, I am learning a lot of stuff this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Red. Reactive. Yeah, I haven't heard of that one, Gloria. Thank you. That's interesting. Okay, you guys. I have to get off. I need to put up this other fundraiser for the earrings. And by the way, Veronica, I'm going to show you guys one more time because I have to go to work tomorrow and I'm mad about it, you guys. But let me show you what our precious Veronica donated for our next fundraiser, and we are going to use these for our Valentine's Day fundraiser. And Veronica is such a sweetheart.
Thank you, Veronica.
And I want you guys to see these one more time. When I log off, I'm going to create the fundraiser for this. And these are worth the value about 240, I believe. Is that right, Veronica? These are
Yes.
absolutely beautiful. They are beautiful. So thank you to Veronica who donated these for us to donate or give away for our giveaway. So here's how the next giveaway is going to be. We're going to set the goal again, once again, $600. The value, if we get at least $300 in donations, the winner of the drawing will get these beautiful earrings right in time for Valentine's Day. If we don't meet either one of those two goals, then we're going to try again. So the earrings are for our next giveaway. And everybody give Veronica a great big hug because she is such a sweetheart. She is so supportive, and I am serious. So I have to go to
Thank you,
work tomorrow,
Veronica.
and I'm mad about it, y'all. I had to get up and actually get out my bed, put on some clothes, 5 o'clock in the morning, and head down the freeway. I've been off for over 6 months, y'all. 6 months.
And she's complaining. She's complaining about being off. That's what it sounded like to me. It don't sound like you sound like she complained she was off. Wait,
Oh my
when's my
goodness.
6 months off?
Anyway, you keep working.
Forget me,
Keep
right?
on. Keep on working.
Maxine says, thanks, Veronica.
Everybody, she has a heart of gold. She really does. She is such a sweetheart.
She is.
Yes, he was green and a baby. Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
Anita's not used to going in.
Need to get used to. Yeah, I should. Veronica. Oh my God. I I was ask Linda. I was depressed when I had to go in
Oh
and
my
take
goodness.
that doggone test. I didn't. If you guys noticed that day, I didn't get online at all. I logged on, but I didn't do any lives. I was seriously depressed when they said, "Come on in. Uh, you have to be here, at 10 o'clock." I was depressed. So anyway, you guys, I'm getting ready to work on this next fundraiser. We appreciate you all. Thank you all who donated, and congratulations once again to Monique who won the what was it $106.50. And for the next donation fundraiser, thank you giveaway, the beautiful earrings contributed donated or for us to give away from Veronica. Mwah! Thank you guys. We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
all. And thank you. And look out for the next fundraiser. You could be the winner of those beautiful earrings. So
Yep.
I got to go to work. See you guys.
Yep. Good night, everybody.